always look for it as like the most.
Did I? I got it, Michelle. Michelle, I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Hi, Karen. Good, how are you? Woo. Dougie boy. Dougie. Doug Stebbins, Mr. Stebbins. My brother from another mother.
Check, check. Hey, hey. You all set, Jeremy? Good evening. I will call the Wednesday, August 26th school committee meeting to order. Our student representatives are absent. All other members are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We do not have any presentations this evening or adjustments to the agenda. So we'll move on to the approval of the last meeting minutes from August 12th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. And the consent agenda, nominations, Seth DeRocher, Ray Sampson, for Biddeford BIS and BHS teacher. Appointments, we have a list of athletic and non-athletic stipends, as well as Tracy Gutierrez, Biddeford Primary School Ed Tech 2, April Cameron, BPS Ed Tech 1, Caitlin Connolly, BIS Ed Tech 1, Jamie Wone, Biddeford High School Ed Tech 3, Savannah McKay, Biddeford Primary School Ed Tech 1, Carolyn Collins, BIS Ed Tech 3, Stacy Luscombe, custodian, Amanda Lord, District Human Resource Specialist, Andrew Glenn, Biddeford High School Ed Tech 3. Under resignations, Kyle Hansen, Biddeford High School teacher, Kevin Gunderson, BPS Ed Tech, Stephanie Blanchette, Biddeford Middle School admin assistant, Justin Van Niekirk, Biddeford Middle School Ed Tech 3, and transfers, Paul DeRocher, Biddeford Middle School custodian, moving to Biddeford Primary School custodian, and Courtney White, Biddeford Primary School Ed Tech 1 to Biddeford Primary School Ed Tech 3.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Brings us to our superintendent's report. Superintendent Ray.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. We're here tonight on the eve of welcoming back with our presentation teachers tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Biddeford Middle School auditorium. Anyone who wants to stop over for some entertainment, feel free to stop in. Staff has been back the last couple of days, and really where we were yesterday afternoon at Biddeford Primary School to where we were tonight, the amazing work that the teachers in the new wing and in the building did to get that ready for parents. It looked really, really nice tonight. If you did venture to that side of town, the parking lots were full. Hill Street was full. A lot of really good excitement in those buildings for open house coming back in. Want to thank Bill, custodian crew, maintenance crew, Rich Dutremble and the technology crew for really, not only is it a lot of work just to get your buildings ready, but then you take new installs for Wi-Fi, television hooks up in a new building, Bill and the crew making sure that fences were up and things were. That's just a lot of work. They've done a great job. The building looks great. Our other buildings look great. And summer's short, and there's a lot of work to do. And one of the things that, 15, 20 years ago, everybody thought that summer cleaning and maintenance was easy. And what we realize now is that, parts just don't get here and show up. They're not off the shelf the next day. So what used to be able to be done every summer is really a year-round task for a lot of those folks. As we welcome back staff, we're also looking to welcome back our students next week. Monday, grades 1 through 9. Tuesday, on the 1st, we will add grades 10 and 12 to that. On Wednesday, we will bring our kindergarten students and COT students back. And then on the 8th, our pre-K students will join us. A lot of that is done. People say, why do you do that? Well, transitions are important. So is transportation. And for bus drivers on the first day, when you think about just trying to get kids safely to where they need to go, and then giving us a couple of days to figure that out before you add kids who have never been on a bus before into that mix. It's really important. Chris and I were with transportation this afternoon, and I really want this committee to really hear the impact that you have had. Is that we worked hard on a transportation contract. We paid our employees a very good rate area-wise. And Mike has 0 open positions, and I think he told me he had 9 substitutes with more in the pipeline. So that's a very different piece than we've been at, or position that we've been at, than in other years. That means that they're doing something right up there, and transportation is a tough job. And I want to say to the public, if anyone's watching, is that these folks come to our district and do have one of the hardest jobs that there is, driving a bus. It's not easy. It's not easy just to drive in town in your regular vehicle, let alone one that's, 35 feet long and's got 60 kids behind you. Please give them some grace the first couple days of school. Traffic is always more challenging at the beginning because more parents want to drop off and you're getting into the routine. And when you're a 7-year-old, you may not know exactly which stop you're supposed to get off, even if the tag's there or not. Download your bus ride app because there's a lot of information in that, and you can follow the bus route. But it's hard enough to hold on to employees, but it's very painful for them when they read about social media about what a tough first couple of days it was. It always gets figured out. And so thank them for what they do, because we're lucky that we're a district right now that doesn't have openings. Very pleased about that. We have a grand opening planned at BPS for September 10th. And then I put that on hold, Liam, and then Mandy gave me some more information late this afternoon. We're waiting on and trying to align a furniture delivery. And if it's the same day as the 10th as new furniture, we can't do it that. So we've got a couple of dates. You're going to get information in a couple of days after we firm this up on the delivery of furniture that needs to occur. But it will be a ribbon cutting, inviting some members of the public in to see the building and see the new learning space that we have for kiddos. Just need to give a big thank you to Staples in Biddeford for hosting a Stuff the Bus event, and the community responded. The entire school bus was filled with school supplies. They brought it back to the office, and I didn't know if we were going to get down the hallway. There was so much stuff. And then I want to thank the girls field hockey team for jumping in the next morning and organizing and unbagging everything, because that was not something that was going to get on or off the plate in a day's time. So thank you very much for that. Just want to mention that Pillars of Pride tickets for the event are now on sale. That's Saturday, October 10th at 6 p.m. And we will be honoring Biddeford High School educator Robert Davies, 1942. He was born in 1942 to 2024. And if you remember, last year we shared some really fortunate news about approximately $500,000 that he left us as part of his estate that was paid out over time that the BEF is managing. That was just, you don't expect something like that. And then honoring our partnership with Maine Health Sports Performance and Physical Therapy in Saco. For any of you who've had athletes go through the system, really that partnership with them has provided us consistent athletic training services here for our athletes. Looking to add that second one as for a lot of our students, that's the first line of care that they get in preventing injuries, or the affiliation of being able to help them facilitate appointments if a serious injury comes up. So that should be a great event. And then finally, just a reminder to parents, if you haven't contacted transportation, I beg you again to please contact them. Look at the app, make sure things are right, because Monday morning is a very difficult time for us to manage the volume of phone calls. And if it's not done beforehand, I just can't guarantee that we will be able to add a student to a different stop at the end of day one, because we have to balance the size, the number of kids on each bus, and make sure the paperwork's safe. So please reach out to us. Any questions?
Thank you. Don't have student representative reports to this evening, so committee reports. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Biddeford Primary School building update.
So as I said, open house was tonight. It is, we are ready to go. I think some of the decisions as I look today, I feel fairly good about the additional parking that we were able to add to make sure that there are plenty of spots over there. That was something we were a little bit concerned about. Certainly as snow builds up, that could be challenging, like in all schools. But feeling good about the parking situation. Really thankful to the work that Robbie has done with us in codes to help us move that process forward. They're always great to work with on those pieces. And I look forward to getting everybody over there to see some of the unique features that we have in the school. We do have an indoor slide that is our tiger tail, that is decorated like a tiger tail. And to watch children at open house tonight come around that corner and their parents to see that, that is hooking kids early on their school experience. Just like, wow, that is my school. The other piece, I can't remember if I talked about it last time or not, is that we do have the scoreboard that is operational from JFK in the lobby. That is a 1948. Many of our community members who were at JFK, cheered, played basketball, was in that gym, played underneath that scoreboard. And that's hanging on the wall, and it's operational. And it's a unique historical piece that we were able to bring over. And I think that's probably, I doubt there are very many of those left in schools. So the fencing for the pre-K playground was going up this afternoon. Certainly there will be little things that we have to do. And then I think that once the dust settles a little bit and we are clear on where we are financially, looking at things like, do we have enough outdoor furniture for the outdoor classroom that's on the second level? What is our playground situation over there? Because that really hasn't been replaced since I've been here, which is now 15 years. So kind of looking at those pieces, and then whether it's addressed with those funds or next year, I really do think we need a digital marquee on that side of the town for announcements. And whether that's located there as kind of the first school in or at the middle school, that is such a traveled spot and a place in the city where we could really get the word out and share information. I think those are some things that are needed over there.
Questions on the Biddeford Primary School? Marie?
With regards, Jeremy, to the marquee, are you you're looking just to do one at one of those buildings? Because what I was thinking is, if we have one going north, one coming south, you're hitting everybody.
Yeah, those would be, that would be a two-sided digital sign, much like what we have out there. Certainly, if funding was there, I would love to have one north and south. And we can look at that through the budget process, and I'll give us a little bit of an estimate in the next item of where we think we're going to end this year or FY26. But at least making sure that we had one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the other piece would be, and again, maybe Marie, because of One of the things that's a little more challenging at the middle school is the power run. But maybe that's a conversation that we have with the city, because Public Works is there too. And if you really had like that bookend of both sides, maybe there's more of a joint venture that we could look at between those two. It's really so convenient having so much on one stretch that, again, if you're not going to the schools, your next reason would be going to work or to Public Works up there. And whether that's trash or recycling, it's a pretty good area to get the word out.
Thank you.
Tim.
Just out of curiosity, what's the rough estimate of a cost of a sign like that?
So again, you have to look at your power run. And probably in that situation, we would actually bring a new service in from the poles out there, because that would be cheaper and better than probably going from the school out under the playground. You probably would be looking, by the time you set the base, bring the power in, you'd be in the 40 grand range to have that piece. And, again, when you think about where we are organizationally, where your children pre-K through seventh grade are really within a stone's throw of each other, that's just a place where so much information could be shared. And it's a place, when you think about parts of town where there are signs, you're really looking at here at the high school, you're looking at the police station, you're looking over by the ice arena. And this is a place where theoretically traffic should be much slower, more cautious. And kind of when you have that school sign there, one of the things that we really learned last year in Saco is that we didn't have a sign by Saco Middle School, which is high speed, out in front of there. And having that school sign where it kind of flashed, it helped give us that appearance more of a school. And you kind of could put the slow down, school in session piece, and it helped, in our opinion. We felt that it calmed traffic a little bit.
Amy.
Just an idle Google, but it seems like there are solar powered ones now that are like pretty cheap, and they're essentially like giant TVs, like $5 grand instead of 40.
So we'd want to look at that piece, because I did talk to the digital sign people in Dayton. We asked about solar, and it had something to do with the amount of power that they use during the day. And then you also have some pieces where they must automatically dim at night. I didn't understand it all, but yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions on Biddeford Primary School? And FY26 estimated ending balance.
Yeah, so Colin and I were hoping to have the ending balance for you guys tonight of where we came in FY26, but in the last, as we were going through the final report, we actually realized there was a couple of more revenues that needed to come in on the positive side. I'm thinking before we take any of our carry forward in Medicaid, that we're going to be around the 1.6 to 1.7 million remaining, minus the Medicaid money. So as we go into next year with carryover, we only had about $650,000 in last year's budget in initial carryover funds. I think we might be almost double that in this year. Now, that doesn't mean that I would recommend you spend it all in 1 year and create a false cliff in the future, but it may be definitely a way to soften things or plan for some things like signage, capital improvement, other pieces that may come in on that. I want to give a real shout out to Michelle Scontorsh Dupree, which is an employee here that handles our Medicaid billing. We eclipsed about $1 million on day treatment programs last year. And that's really someone who does a great job with paperwork and following up and supervising. And so, kudos to her and the special education department for, looking at that funding, accessing that funding, and moving forward. And so our revenue side, I think we were darn close to $1 million over projected revenues coming in. So pretty positive year. I think that as Colin goes through the books from the year before and the great work we've been doing with the person that you brought in from on the city side to help move this forward, we actually think that we might be going back another year and realizing that there was more money left than what had been initially thought. So I think it's pretty positive. We're pretty lucky to have Colin on our team. He's really establishing himself well in that department, and we're very happy down there to have him.
Thank you. Any questions on the FY26 estimated balance? Thank you. Seeing none. Opening day professional development memo.
So there's a memo in your packet just outlining what some of the professional development activities were. We welcomed on Monday between the three districts about 100 new people between the three. I think it was an exciting day. There's just so much to cram into day one that is very difficult because, you know, you have to have a spot for sexual assault prevention and suicide training. Well, that's not exactly the thing you want on first day, but you have to do it. So we're going to be reviewing some of that stuff, but you know, good program put forward by Chris, Mandy, and Meg. Really tried to give a day yesterday for classroom preparation. I guess we've all watched enough TikToks this summer or reels on Facebook about everybody needing just time in their classrooms to get it set up in those pieces. So we really tried to honor that with today being professional development, tomorrow being our district opening and getting ready for open house. So great job to everybody who put that together. Principals planned great things for their staff. I'm just super pleased how we're early, knock on wood, start is going.
Any questions or comments on the professional development? Enrollment update.
So again, Lisa and I started to work on everything, and then it seemed like there was more coming and going in the last 2 days of new registrations that I didn't even dare to bring forward a number to you guys. I know Martha's today at the high school was pretty busy with registrations that we just decided to wait until the dust settled because I didn't want to say we are up or down by X number of students and then have tell you the exact opposite. What we will be doing is we asked principals today at the elementary level, especially to monitor class sizes. We have a Google form where we ask them to go in every morning for the first couple of days and update those so that we can monitor our ratios. Our ratios at the elementary level are really overall pretty good comparative to other districts. We're at about 17-1 at the kindergarten level. It's 16-1 at first grade, and then most other things are between 18 and 20 at the elementary level. If we can stay under 20 students, that's ideal. Our middle school, we do have 2 large classrooms. It just happens to be 2 at the same, where you're at 21 in one grade and 22 at the other. But it's not, again, that's not the regular. And when we look at our ratios compared to other districts surrounding, some of my peers report that they have classrooms with 25 plus in those. So feel pretty good about where we're at, and we'll update you. According to Chris, it doesn't seem right now that our ELL numbers are going that much higher. That's the initials that we think we're going to be pretty steady. So we may not see that change this fall. And hopefully we'll look at the overall number and continue to grow, because obviously that student numbers and ratios have big impact on your state subsidy for the following year.
Any questions or comments on enrollment? Move on to first readings, beginning with student discrimination and harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Student sex discrimination harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Employee discrimination and harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Employee sex discrimination harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. And Federal Procurement Manual, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? Amy?
I just noticed that that has a 25 after it, and so does another one. I believe that's because it's the most recently available one. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're not a year behind. They are.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is unanimous. AEDs and CPR.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Marie?
I think just maybe a little bit of cleanup work on that document. I discussed it with Michelle a little earlier. It says the Biddeford School Committee, and I don't know if it's going to come out like differently when it goes to whatever. Maybe Chris can explain that. But it just seemed like there were a couple of redundant things there. I didn't know if that was an oops.
Assistant Superintendent.
Yeah, typographical error on that, Marie. These are changes that are required in statute effective May of 2027, so we're really ahead of the game on this particular policy. We can table this for now, and I can attend to those and bring it back to the full committee. After we get to child fine, I'm going to ask a member of the committee to make a motion to suspend the rules and take a second reading of our child abuse neglect reporting so that we can all be on the same page from day one when our kids are coming into school. We just got, excuse me, the legislature changed the law in May, and we just got the updated MSMA policy this summer, which is why we're not kind of doing this last minute. We just got it. And so I think it would be really helpful for our staff to not have one set of rules for 2 weeks and then a different set for the rest of the year. So if there's a member who's willing to make that motion, this board could entertain both readings of that core policy and the -E tonight. So Marie, I'd invite you to make a motion table, and I'll clean that up and we can return to the CPR piece, move on to child fine, and then I'd ask a member to consider a first and second reading.
Chris, the other piece is, I think you also could just approve it at first reading and we'll correct the typos by second reading
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Not slow it down.
I would entertain a motion to make those changes. Correct the typos, essentially.
Yeah, correct the typos.
Second.
Motion by Marie, second by Amy to correct the typos on the AED and CPR policy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Then we are voting on the policy as amended. Any discussion?
And you want that tabled, Chris?
No,
We
we don't
can
need to
pass
table
it
it.
Oh, we can now pass it. Okay.
All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to the child fine 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. And we are at the child abuse or neglect reporting, prevention, and education 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Amy?
I'd like to make a motion that we at this time suspend the rules to allow a second reading of the subsequent 2 policies.
So we have a motion to suspend the second readings for both child abuse or neglect reporting and our next agenda items, suspected child abuse neglect report form.
Second.
So that's a motion by Amy, second by Marie. All those in favor? That is unanimous. So if the first readings pass, the the second reading as well. So we are back to child abuse and neglect reporting, prevention, and education. Any discussion?
Could somebody just give a quick update? Like what, can you
Definite-
explain the legislation just so that everybody knows?
Definitional changes, and the department's trying to get all school departments to use the same form, because departments all over kind of the barn on that, and trying to get some consistency in reporting. It lines up. There are 3 ways you can make a DHS referral. You can call an 800 number and get a hotline in Augusta. You can call a 284 number and talk to someone in the local office in Biddeford if you know that person, or you can go online and fill out a report. And this brings our form into identical sort of fields as what you see online.
It also clarifies that every school employee is a mandated reporter, correct?
That's right. The language about credential holder doesn't exist anymore. It's employee. And so we've reviewed this. I went and did a training with our transportation department. We did this with our new staff folks. So yes, correct.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that brings us to suspected child abuse neglect report form.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is unanimous, and we also waived the second reading on that, so both of those are passed. Thank you. Brings us to public participation, 3-minute limit for any item on this evening's agenda. Seeing none. Communications from committee members. Yes, Emily.
I was at the open house for BPS today, and it was great. It was a fantastic event. Thank you to Megan and everybody else who made that possible. That was it was really special to see the new building, to see all of the friends we have known from various schools. My son's going to kindergarten, so it was just a really nice time for the whole community to come together at the beginning of the year. So informative, but also a nice community building event. So thanks to everybody who made that possible.
Thank you. Marie.
Not so much a communications as much to share a sentiment. I just want to wish all the administrative staff, our staff, and especially our students a very healthy, happy, and wonderful school year. Let's go knock it out of the park. And looking forward to seeing everybody throughout the year with, some visits, especially that new building. So, good luck, everybody, and enjoy.
Thank you. And on that note, I will echo those sentiments and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.